everybody. Welcome to another special edition of Hashing Out the Law. This is Meet the CCBA, and today my guest is Lisa Liu. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
Hi, Arash. How are you? I'm doing well.
I'm great. Thank you. Lisa, you are a member of the executive board. What is your position?
I believe I am the vice president this year. Yes.
First vice president?
I think I'm the
Yes,
gosh.
you're
I
the
think
first vice president.
I am the first vice president. Yeah.
Okay.
The years are all blending together right now.
So, Lisa, when did you join the organization?
Gosh, I think I joined back in 2013, 2000, yeah, around there,
Do you,
2014.
why did you join the organization?
I think the first meeting I went to was with Jackie Lacey. I have a photo with Jackie at that meeting, and it was a really popular event. I had a really great time, and ever since that meeting, I became a member. And yeah, I think CCBA puts on some of the best events for the criminal bar. So I really enjoy being part of the CCBA.
I agree with you. They are a great organization, and I'm being biased. But let's go back to you. Um, how long have you been practicing? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your practice, and what you do.
Sure. I am a criminal defense attorney. Surprise, surprise. I think everyone part of the CCBA pretty much is. And I've been doing criminal law for my entire legal career. It's been over a decade now. I went to University of Michigan Law School. After I graduated, I became a prosecutor, a volunteer law clerk at first, and then I became a volunteer deputy district attorney in Kern County, and then I became a deputy district attorney in Tulare County, and I was there for several years until I came back to LA and opened up my own practice. And I've been practicing criminal defense ever since. I am a certified specialist in criminal law by the California State Bar, and I am actually the only Chinese speaking, Mandarin speaking certified specialist in criminal law in all of Southern California.
I have so many questions now. So many questions. Okay,
Okay.
let's go back. So you went to undergrad at Michigan, correct?
No, UCLA.
Okay, so you went to Michigan Law School.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm assuming you are a Southern California native because you said when you came back to LA. What made you want to go to Michigan Law School?
It is a top 10 law school, and my professor at UCLA, one of my mentors, Professor Tong, he actually just passed away last year. He went to Michigan for his PhD in political science, and he really pushed me to apply early decision to Michigan, and I did. So, and I got in, and I wanted to go to top 10 law school. It's the law school that he really wanted me to go to, and he really is a mentor to me. And I actually did enjoy my time there. I was able to complete 3 years of law school in 2.5 years. So they had a special program at the time. They don't have it anymore. But yeah, I actually really did like going to Michigan Law School, besides the 9 months of winter.
I was going to ask you, how'd you deal with the winter?
It was very tough in the beginning, but you kind of get used to it. And I really got lucky. I only had to do 2 winters there. My last year, I graduated December, like right before Christmas. So I got to skip all of January through April, like all that snow, which is great. And the snow is not so bad November, December. So I got to skip all that, took the bar in February, and then started working right away.
I have a very important question, which I'm certain all our viewers are wondering about too. Bruins versus Wolverines. Who you cheer for?
I cheer for the underdog. So
you're,
whoever is ranked lower.
you're
That's
such a
my job. I'm
you're
a criminal
such a
defense attorney.
lawyer.
Always gotta
Such
go
a
with the
lawyer.
underdog.
Okay, so you finished law school, then you volunteer as a prosecutor. You said with the city attorney's office.
No, with Kern County District Attorney's Office.
Okay,
But
so
I was
you
a law clerk there first before I got my bar results.
okay, so you're in Kern County. How long were you in Kern County?
I was in Kern County, I think like almost a year. Like right when I took the bar exam, I after I took the bar exam, I wanted to get like experience right away because I'm just waiting for bar results. So I decided, you know, LA is really hard to like get. LADA is super humongous, and you know, just like to get through the paperwork of even hiring a law clerk is not easy. So I just went one county up and, you know, applied. I was the only law clerk at the time. They've never had a law clerk. I think it was the first law clerk they ever had as a volunteer. And so, you know, I got the job right away. Who's going to deny free help? And they're like, oh, you went to a really good law school. You really like criminal law. You want experience. So I worked on a murder case right away. It was a great experience. I really enjoyed it. And then right when I passed the bar, you know, you have to kind of wait until the county actually opens hiring for the entire county for, you know, to get an actual paid DA position. But because Kern County, you know, they've known me as a law clerk there for several months, like 3 or 4 months, they, you know, they basically swore me in as a volunteer DA right away because they can have me as a volunteer DA, not pay me until the county opened up their hiring. Yeah.
So you're a volunteer DA, and then from there you went to Tulare County, you said?
So the first county that opens up hiring is Tulare County. They are open almost all the time. So I realized that I don't know when Kern County is going to open up their hiring. I can wait for a really long time or just try to get a job that pays me money like ASAP. So I applied and they hired me on the spot, gave me a job, and I was like, okay, it's only one more county up from where I am. So I just went ahead and worked there. I also got a couple of friends of mine to work there too. And actually, a lot of the Tulare County DAs that I work with are now in LA County working at their DA office. So it's, you know,
What's the biggest city in Tulare County?
Visalia.
And what's the population?
I have no idea.
How many cases on average did you guys get?
Misdemeanor or felony calendar?
Both.
I think misdemeanor calendar was like around 100 a day. It's pretty high. Felony calendar just depends on the courtroom. I didn't do it at Visalia Courthouse. My assignment was in Porterville, which is a smaller city, 40 minutes away from Visalia, and we would van pool together to that city. So the calendars are not that heavy there. I think like maybe, I don't know, I don't remember, it's been so long, like maybe like 50 cases or so, but I know sometimes I had to prep like, you know, 5 or 6 prelims a day sometimes.
And you were there for how long?
I was there for 3 years, I believe. It's quite a long time.
And then you left there and you came back to LA,
Yep.
and you decided to be one of the good guys when you came back.
So I did, but I also applied for the LAD's office at the time too. So I was doing kind of both to see what I wanted to do. But obviously like criminal defense worked out for me right away. I think I moved back here February um, of that year. Must have been, I think, 2014 maybe. And I got cases right away. And in fact, I got so many cases that in April of 2014, I got onto the ICDA panel. So I got really lucky. I know it takes a long time to get on the panel. But so, I mean, like I wasn't able to go through all the steps at the DA's office. They take forever to hire somebody, you know, in LA. So, I mean, it just worked out for me. I was on the panel. I had my own private cases. I'm still on the panel now.
Awesome. Now, let's go back to undergrad and before undergrad. So I'm assuming you're a Southern California native,
Yep. I've been raised all my life in Southern California.
born and raised in LA.
Not born,
Okay.
but
Where were you born?
I was born in China
Okay. And when did you move here?
when I was 5 or 4, when I was 4. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. So you are a first generation immigrant.
Yes. And went to elementary school here, middle school, high school, all in Los Angeles County.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you are a Southern California native. Now, where's your office, Lisa?
Alhambra.
Alhambra. And Alhambra has a big Chinese community. Um, I actually drive through there, and it's an interesting fact. I was reading an article. Um, when tourists from China actually come here, rather than stay in the LA area, they all would rather stay in Alhambra and in that area because they feel more at home. So interesting fact that I learned. I didn't know that.
I
But
don't know that either.
and what do you like about Alhambra Court? I know it's a smaller court as opposed to some of the other courts in the county.
Alhambra Court specifically?
Yes.
Um, well, I like that it's small. I used to be, so the new head DIC just changed. I'm sure you're well aware. But the old DIC was my really good friend. She's actually kind of like a mentor to me. So I really enjoyed doing cases. I've been enjoying doing cases at Alhambra. I know all the judges, know all the prosecutors there, and I just feel like it's just kind of like a second home for me. But I also live in Pasadena, and I also consider Pasadena Court like a second home to me as well.
So let me ask you this. If you live in Pasadena, why do you have your office in Alhambra? That's a pretty big commute.
Mm, I don't think it's a long commute at all. I think I probably have one of the shortest commutes of most people in LA County. Yeah.
I'm just asking for myself because I wonder, when people open up their office or where they live, how they um, think about where the office should be and stuff like that. So, all right, Lisa, outside of the office, when you're not being a lawyer, what do you like doing?
Well, so tonight, every third Wednesday, there's a pro bono clinic that I volunteer at, and today is the third Wednesday of the month. So we have a pro bono clinic that I volunteer every month. It's with the Southern California Chinese Lawyers Association. So I do that. That's something that I'm really passionate about, and I've been part of that org just as long as the CCBA as well.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
However, I'm not going to accept your answer because my question was when you're not being a lawyer. And tonight you are volunteering at a pro bono clinic, which is awesome. And I commend you for it. But you're still being a lawyer. So when you're not being a lawyer, what are you doing, Lisa?
I love cooking. Cooking food is probably my stress reliever, so that's something that I like doing. Um, I used to bake a lot of bread. It's very time consuming. I've kind of stopped doing that, but I did a lot of that last year during the pandemic. But yeah, that's probably like the thing that I like to do the most.
It's awesome. So when we go back to in-person meetings, at the next meeting, I'm going to expect you to bring me something to eat that you made yourself.
Okay, I will think about that.
Besides cooking and making bread or baking bread, is there anything else that you do that the average member or a colleague of yours wouldn't know about you?
Hmm. Mm, I don't think so. Like trying to think I'm pretty much an open book. So if someone wanted to ask me something, I'd probably tell them, but can't think of anything that I do that people may not know about me.
Let's go to one of my favorite questions that I like to ask, not just the guests on this program, but other people that I know that are lawyers. When was that moment in your head when the switch flipped on and you said, I want to be a lawyer?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't really have an answer to that question, because I think I've always kind of wanted to be a lawyer, but I didn't know why I wanted to be a lawyer. But I can tell you, like when I knew I want to become a criminal lawyer, that's probably something that I can pinpoint and share.
All right, we'll come back to the original question, but tell me, when did you decide you want to be a criminal lawyer?
So this is a really cool question or interesting answer because I wasn't the one who actually kind of like knew this about myself, but everyone has to take criminal law during 1L first year of law school. And my professor was a brand new professor at the University of Michigan. He was a federal public defender for quite a while, argued a lot of cases in front of the Supreme Court, Professor David Moran, and we were his first inaugural criminal law like class ever at the University of Michigan. He has a PhD in physics and he has a JD from Michigan. So he's a very interesting person. So took criminal law with him, and I ended up getting like top one of the top five grades in the class. But and at Michigan, it's blind grading. So they have like you're assigned a number and then you put the number on the test. And then once all the grades are submitted, the professor can then decode what number belongs to what student. So I get my grade. I was like, oh, that's a great grade. I get an email from my professor like a day or two later, and he's like, hey, I need to see you in office hours. So here I am, like as a first year law student, I'm like, oh my God, like, did I put someone else's number on my document? Like, what happened? Like, is this grade not correct? And this is the first time I go to office hours, and he, um, sees me in his office, and he says, you really need to consider doing criminal law as your career. And I've never had a professor be so straightforward and so persistent and just tell me straight up, this is what I need to do. So I was like, what, why do I need to do work in criminal law for my career? He's like, you really have a knack for this. Like you had a really great final for your first year criminal law class. And I was like, really, for my first year criminal law class, you're going to assume that I'm going to be really good at criminal law? And he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm really certain that you're going to do really well in this field if you go into criminal law. And at that point, I had taken all the first year classes. It's like my last one. My first year of law school was actually 3 semesters. So we started in the summer, then the fall, then the spring. And I originally went to University of Michigan to do environmental law because they have a really, really big naturalist program, like environmental program. They have a master's that you can do dual with the law school. I really thought that was what I was going to do, like save the earth, save the planet, save the animals. I worked for a World Wildlife Fund in South Africa and in China and in DC before I went to law school. So like this was a passion of mine. And then what ended up happening was, he tells me this, and now I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I have to do. So I started taking all these classes in like, trial advocacy and just more criminal based classes. And I actually do really well in all of them. And so I literally at the end of law school at that point, I hadn't clerked at like the DA's office or anything. And I'm like, I have to go and find a job to see if this is like really what's like, if this is for me, because I worked for a federal judge my first summer. And then my second summer, I had already gotten a job lined up at a civil rights law firm. So I worked there. And then I was like, okay, I have to see if this is it for me. And then the rest is history. So it was really interesting for me to like have someone tell me this is what I need to do.
That was a great answer. And with that answer, we learned all this new stuff about you that we didn't know and that you didn't mention before. So you worked in South Africa, you worked in China, you worked for a federal judge, and you worked for DC. You never mentioned any of this stuff. So
well, those are all for World Wildlife Fund. I worked in DC, South Africa, and China for World Wildlife Fund, which is a nonprofit, an international nonprofit
right.
that deals with environmental conservation. Yeah.
Right. I understand. I know who they are, but you never mentioned that. You never meant, and then you worked in these different countries and different places. So that's very interesting. But let's go back to my original question. You said that you always wanted to be a lawyer, which I understand, but I don't think it's acceptable because when you were in elementary school as like a 3rd grader, did you want to be a lawyer?
I think one of my teachers was really snarky, and she's like, Lisa, you're so good at arguing, you should be a lawyer. And probably something like that got registered in my mind. And then I just was not very good at science. I mean, I'm good at math, but I'm not good at science. And both my parents are doctors. So it was a huge disappointment for me not to be a doctor. But I was very adamant not to be a doctor. I mean, yeah. And my mom, even today, is like, it's not too late to be a doctor. Even
are you the black sheep of the family, Lisa?
Yes.
Put your family to shame. You be a lawyer. Wow.
Not too late to be a doctor, even today, Arash. You can still become a doctor.
I'm going to tell you a little side story. I was coming down the elevator at my house, and this other person was in the elevator with me, and he was in his scrubs, and I had law offices of Arash Hashemi jacket on, and he goes, "Are you a lawyer?" I go, "Yes, I am." He goes, "Is that you?" I go, "Yes, that's me." He goes, "I'm a lawyer, but I decided I don't like it, so I became a doctor. I'm a doctor now. I didn't want to be a lawyer." I'm like, "All right, thank
Okay.
you, thank you. Continue, continue. I don't want to hear it." As if you know, he made a mistake and now he's corrected his mistake. So yes, you're right. I could be a. It's not too late for me to correct my mistake, but I'm
Not
gonna
too
wait for you to start that train. So once you go to med school, I'll follow along.
I'm done taking tests, Arash. The last one was a certification for a criminal specialist. I'm done taking tests.
Fine, fine. Okay, so we learned a lot about you, Lisa. Some of the stuff that you didn't tell us, but we had to indirectly get from you from your other answers. Is there anything else you'd like to say um, that you want the viewers to know about you?
Just that it's been a pleasure talking to you. You're such a great guy doing all these interviews. Thank you so
Thank,
much for bringing so much, you know, benefit to the board and just giving us the ability to, you know, have this publicity for all our board members. So thank you. You're doing
thank you,
this out of your free time as a volunteer. So
thank you very much. But I'm not gonna take all the credit for it. I do it because I actually like doing it, so I enjoy doing it. I do it for myself, but I appreciate the comments. It was a pleasure. Uh, I hope everybody, excuse me, I hope everybody got the opportunity to learn more about Lisa and what she does. She is the first vice president this year, and if you guys need to get in contact with her, you can find her information on the laccba.com or .org website, and I will be tagging her in all our posts so you can contact her directly through social media. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you.